Good morning, people. This is Catherine here from No Cashless Debit Card Australia. I thought I'd come on and have a bit of a chat about the post regarding how the ALP will scrap the cashless debit card and stop the compulsory basics card, because I can see through the comments here that a few things need to be corrected for a few people, and a couple of comments will be going missing because we don't electioneer for people or parties that have not supported our campaign over the last 6 years, have not stood up against the card, or have been aligned with parties that have voted for the card, right? So if your comment regarding certain political parties disappears, that is because that person was connected with a political party that voted the card in the first place, and despite all their squeaking, has never said anything against the card since, okay? So please don't be sucked in by certain independents that claim that they're there for your rights when they're not, because... so let's get back to ALP. So for the last 6 years, we've seen what's been going on with the cashless debit card since the original trial in Seduna, of which ALP did support in good faith, but they didn't have all the information then, okay? By the time we get round to 2017, and I stuck the terms and conditions in Bill Shorten's hand, and we went through and spent 30 minutes highlighting all of the problems with the cashless debit card in the terms and conditions, Labor withdrew support for the cashless debit card back in 2017. Tyre says, I don't believe a single word that comes out of any of their political maps. Well, guess what? I have spent I've spoken to many ALP over the last 6 years. I've yelled at them, I've screamed at them, I've been to the Parliament 4 times. I've actually gone to Canberra, I've spoken to Linda Burney, I've spoken to Anthony Chisholm, I've spoken to Bill Shorten, and at the moment, right, No Cashless Debit Card has been having meetings with the Pensioners Protections, or the Protecting Pensioners Task Force, right? They are deadly serious about scrapping this card. There's no ifs or buts about it. You can go back through their voting record right now and look on a site called How They Vote For You, and you will see how ALP senators and MPs have voted over the last 6 years. Go and see in our video, in our videos on our page, you can go back and watch the videos, okay, that show these senators and these MPs standing up. Now, I don't know what else to say when people go, I don't believe them. Well, watch the videos. Then look at how they voted, right? Look at who voted against it. ALP voted against it. The Greens voted against it. Even Jackie Lambie voted against it in December of 2020, okay? Unfortunately, the ones that committed tyranny on the people that night were the LNP, One Nation, and Centre Alliance, who backstabbed everybody and gave their vote to the LNP. That's why the card is still continuing to this day, despite them promising never to vote for it without the evaluation. And at the time, the Adelaide University evaluation, Anne Ruston was sitting on it and refusing to release it, right, because she knew it didn't go her way, all right? So Warren Colony says, Dan Andrews is ALP. So what? He's not federal ALP. He doesn't get to vote in this. He's state premier, okay? He doesn't have a vote in this. Federal ALP, all right? Maria says lame. What's lame? Getting people off the cashless debit card is not lame. Giving people their lives back is not lame, right? Giving people their ability to make decisions, okay? Basil Brush, what an original name, says then after the election. I'm sorry, but so you would rather, I'm going to say to all these naysayers, so you would rather, right, you would rather have the LNP and One Nation and Clive Palmer's mob in power, right, putting everybody on the cashless debit card and more age pensioners on the cashless debit card because they've already started putting their age pensioners on the card in the Cape York. You would rather give up our Medicare, which I don't, right, as a disabled person myself, I certainly cannot afford an Americanized private system, right, where user pays. Your kids need to go to public schools, but the money has been going to the private schools for their swimming pools and their orchestra pits and their flash, expansions and everything, right? So you rather your public, your kids. This is just stupid. You know what I mean? I don't understand why so many people are prepared to vote against the best interest of their children, let alone risk putting their grandma on the cashless debit card. LMP have made it very clear that they will roll this out, right? They haven't been busy behind the scenes talking to the banks because Indu can't handle a national rollout by itself. It's not a big enough company and it doesn't work in real-time banking, right? And the money is held overseas, so there's too many delays, okay? So they're looking at the 4 banks and they've been in talks with the 4 banks for quite a while now, okay? So I don't understand why some people here, I mean, if you're not here basically against the card, right, why are you making all these negative comments? It took 6 years to get Labor to this position. You should be cheering. Seriously, you should be celebrating the fact that you've stood up and said, no, we don't want this, and they listened. Simple as that. Not bagging them on our pages. And I will be removing the comments that are bagging them. The same as with the Greens have solidly and staunchly stood up against the cashless debit card all the way through, right? When they make their statements and we post them to the page, if people come trolling, we will remove the comments as well. Because this page is about standing up and fighting against the card, all right? Now, the idea was to get change, political change, all right? At the beginning, Labor was with LMP, okay? They're no longer doing that anymore. They're no longer with the ALP. They've gone, the LMP. The LMP have gone completely, excuse me, I'm a full-time carer of a special needs adult. I'm still against the cash. Don't attack your supporters. All right? Tia Ellison needs to educate us. I'm not attacking our supporters. The thing is, I'm getting sick of the fact that we won in the respect that all of the hard work that we did over the last 6 years, we got Labor to stand up and say, no, we're going to stop this, but people need to get them into government to do it. They can't do it while government has majority in the House. They can't stop it, even though they voted against it. All it takes is Centre Alliance, One Nation to vote with it, okay, and keep the government having that one vote, all right? I am just really, it disappoints me that people won't have faith in all the hard work that we've done to be able to get to this point where Labor have really planted the feet and said no more, okay? Now, I don't know what else to say, right? I get up, I come on and I see all these people who have no faith. And my attitude is, so who are you going to vote for? Are you going to vote for all the other people out there that are going to guarantee that LMP is going to stay in? So therefore the card stays, and as of 2023 it becomes a permanent fixture and it rolls on by? Or are you going to take the chance and instead of looking backwards, right, move forwards and get ALP in, get Greens in, get progressive independents in, like Australian progressives, Andrew Wilkie, right? Keep progressive people in that have got an interest in not only protecting people on Social Security and returning the privatisation of that back to government control, but also, having the Greens in the backup in the system, social justice, in the Senate and the House of Reps. That's what we need. Okay, these are the people that we need to put into the Senate. The ALP need to win to get in there. All right? So, anyway, I just thought I'd come in, and I'm going to look at some of these comments and reply to them, because some people have got their information wrong. Connie Watts says in 2007, Labor started the card in Northern Territory. Let's get to the beginning of this. I think it was earlier than that a group of First Nations women approached the Country Labor Party asking for a system to be put in place so that they could protect their income from their partners. All right, Country Labor Party did put something in place, but it was voluntary. Voluntary, that was the key. It also came with a lot of supports, caseworker, budgeting, cooking classes, etc. When the John Howard government got in 2007, they stripped away from the supports. They suspended the Racial Discrimination Act. They made it compulsory for all First Nations peoples, right? Don't forget, John Howard was the one that sent the army in for the Northern Territory intervention. John Howard made this card compulsory in the Northern Territory from there on in. Okay. This time round in 2017, when its sunset clause was due to come up, right, in 2017, the LNP made sure that they did not release the basics card. In fact, they continued it through to 2022. Okay, so it's always been LNP that have made it compulsory, all right, and it has caused so many problems, so many deaths, so much poverty. It's disgusting. Okay, so that sorts Connie's question out. With cashless debit card, Twiggy Forrest creating parity report, he pushed that through to Abbott, and the government picked that up from there. All right. So I think it's about time people need to realise we need to get the Labor government in. They need to have a good backing with the Greens, right? And they need good progressives in the Senate as well. Now, there's a reason why, and I was going to make a meme about this. I think I already did, but I haven't posted it yet. If you want to get rid of the cashless debit card, right, then what you need to do is, A, Labor need to win the election. B, the Greens need to be there. And Australian progressives. They're the three that we trust. And, of course, we know Andrew Wilkie down in Tasmania has always been against the card. So for Tasmania, all right, he's an independent that you can trust. All right? After doing this for 6 years, after talking to so many politicians, put it this way, if the LNP get in again, myself, I won't be able to do this anymore. I will not be able to fight this anymore if the LP again. I seriously, because there will be no hope. They will just run roughshod, austerity policies, more punitive policies on people on social security, more problems for pensioners, more problems for disabled, more cuts to NDIS, more cuts to Medicare, right? No social housing, period, all right, because they don't believe in that, you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I worry for my own children, my own child. I worry for other people's children. And we've got one crack at this, one crack, all right? And I was, you know, it disheartens me when people don't have faith in the fight that we've put up. And we actually won this fight. We got ALP to turn around, right, and stop supporting the card in 2017 and vote against it and stand up for people and listen to people on the card. You know, Senator Sue Lyons went out to Kalgoorlie and listened to people on the cashless debit card and has stood up and fought really well. Senator Rachel Seaward from the Greens, you cannot ever disrespect that woman's fight. All right? I have so much respect for that woman. She just would not stop. You know what I mean? Then you've got people like Milindari McCarthy, who's been fighting in the Northern Territory. All right? We've seen people stand up over the last 4 or 5 years and really, really fight this. They deserve a chance to actually do something and stop it. You know, it really. Now, forgive me because there's comments coming through on my phone, and I'm trying to follow comments on the Facebook page as well. All right, because there seems to be a spat and I can't see it, so I'm looking. So Sharon Finn says they will connect it to your QR code app, more like it, and then you'll. If you have not completed all their demands, the QR code will not let you access banking, watch and see. No plans on the board anywhere in any legislation for your QR code apps to be linked to your Social Security or your cashless debit card from what we can see. Yeah, I'll squash that straight away because, in fact, that's just laughable. And we don't do conspiracy theories on this page. We do facts and proven facts only, okay? And we give card holders a voice. We put their voices up too. But we don't do conspiracy theories, Sharon Finn, okay? Sorry. But, yeah. Yeah. You know, I'm just looking to see here. Apparently I attacked someone's comment, but I can't see where it was. Hang on. Marie replied. Oh, okay, I see what happened. Marie replied to a comment where a woman said that I don't believe a single word that comes out of any political mouths. They just want to win an election. Well, at the moment, you've got a couple running around that will do and say and stir up any form of conspiracy theory to try and win over votes to keep the LNP in power, right? Labor's been really consistent with their policies. Read the policies that they're putting forward. If you want to know about the Protecting Pensioners Task Force, they're also deadly against any more age pensioners going on a cashless debit card. They've made it very clear in the meetings that we've had that they will scrap the card. They will cancel the Indu contract. Indu also provides the card for the basics card, but doesn't control the basics card. That's still controlled by the government. By getting rid of the compulsory basics card, getting rid of Indu, getting rid of the private company and the privatisation of Social Security. Labor then will devise a program that is voluntary for people that want it. They've done this in consultation with First Nations peoples that have been on the basics card for a whole generation. Okay? A generation of people that don't know any better. Right? And they asked for choice. I saw a video where they were protesting. Yongulu people were protesting no cashless debit card. Some elders were saying they wanted to keep their basics card. Some elders were saying they didn't want it. The people were saying, we want a choice. Listen to us. We want you to listen to us. So ALP have listened, and they're getting rid of the, they are getting rid of the compulsory nature, right? There will be no private company snatching money and putting it into overseas bank accounts and making profits off of people on Social Security. Right, whatever program they put in place for people that volunteer with informed consent, there's a big difference there, right, will be run by the government, and it won't be for profit like Indu is at the moment. Indu is making money off of Australians, right? my personal view of it is they sold us, right? For the princely sum, in the beginning it was $12,000 a person. Now it's down to we're only worth about $5,600. As they get more people on the cashless debit card, the price comes down that the government pays Indu to put you on it. The fact that the government is paying a private company to take over your life, your decision making, right, and how and where you live, at the same time removing your consumer protection, so you've got no recourse against that company, and they're protected against litigation for any losses that you incur, or any health issues, or losing your home, becoming homeless, any of that sort of stuff, right? It's just crazy what's going on. And so, yeah, I'm just looking, some people have had, hang on, I'm trying to go through because I've got comments on my phone. And I can't see them all, and there's so many, and so getting back to the way I feel regarding with being sold out. Indu gets money to put you on the card from the government. That's cost number one. Forget all the setup costs they've already spent, like $310 million, and Indu's already made $70 million clear profit off the backs of people on the cashless debit card. But then they get yearly fees as well. Indu gets to make money every year off of everybody at a smaller amount, probably around about $1,000 a person. So at the moment, they've got about 15,000 people on the cashless debit card that they're getting money in every year for, because that's a free cash. That's free cash, right? That's free money for Indu. But on top of that, they get to control, but not only control, but own the 80% that they quarantine from people. Okay, so people need to understand, under Social Security law, once your payment is paid into your bank account, listen very carefully, okay? This is law. Once your funds go from the RBA to your bank account, it ceases to be a Social Security payment. That is considered your legal income, okay? It is your legal fiscal worth, and the banks use that income to assess your eligibility for your credit situation, whether you're eligible for loans, and basically, you know what I mean? With Indu taking the 80% before it gets to your bank, it's not your money. So when a smart-ass Indu staffer tells a card holder, but it's not your money, technically they're right. Because under the law, okay, that you're not the recipient of that money. It didn't get to your bank, so you don't own it. But Indu do. So they're getting more free money. They're getting the 80% of every person that's on the card, apart from those that are being sort of like gently pushed onto it in the Northern Territory, and all those in the Cape York. They're on 50-50 split up there. And there's different rules for the NT, and they can't access the $200 every 28 days. So has anybody ever wondered why there's a 28-day cycle regarding accessing money? Well, you've got to get the money out of Bank of America first before you can give it back to people, can't you? All right? Simple as that. Why is Social Security money being held overseas? So this company's making lots of profit. Lots of people, there's stakeholders making lots of profits. All right? Lots of funding has gone to a lot of services, and so therefore they can't speak up against the card. I spoke to one in one region, and she said, we get many people come in that have huge big problems, but we can't speak up because we're actually funded by Indu. It's like, they've got their claws in everywhere. They need to go, right? ALP need to come in. Greens need to be in the Senate. Progressives, Australian progressives need to be in there somewhere, right? And LNP, One Nation, Clive Palmer, right, Craig Kelly, they all need to sod off, because they've all brought this on to Australians, and it's not fair. It's more than not fair. It's creating a social economic apartheid state, right? And we don't want that. for profit. So seriously, let's say, I've seen people say they comment, they think that pensioners shouldn't have it, but unemployed people should. I'm constantly having to battle that question with why, right? Why should any Australian lose their rights under law? See, another right you lose is your statutory rights to non-incrimination. And also, they use that statutory rights removal so that you can't turn around and say, no, that's invading my privacy, I'm not going to upload that document. They hold it against you. All right? I'm just, again, I'm trying to read comments both on my phone and online, but look, all I can say to people is we understand that people are nervous, but it's time to move forward, right? We need to change this government, and we need a government that's going to lead us, that's going to protect people, it's going to protect workers' rights, going to protect wages, going to protect Medicare, going to protect people on social security, going to protect aged care and aged pensioners. Not a government that is just in it for the money, privatising, rorting, stripping assets, philandering around Parliament House in the prayer room of all places, you know what I mean, and doing whatever they like and sticking their fingers up at the public and gaslighting people continuously, okay? We don't need that. And making us look like fools on the international level, all right? I am not a greenie. I don't belong to any political party. But I am now in my 50s and I'm watching wildlife disappear. Pauline Hanson even voted against protecting koala habitats. They've all voted against protecting the Great Barrier Reef. They're all voting for coal. Right? So they want low wages. They virtually don't want any social security. And what they do want to give out in pittance that's not livable, they want it controlled by a private company so that that company and its stakeholders can make money off the backs of people's destitution and poverty. Right? They don't care about our environment. They don't care about the First Nations people's cultural heritage, sacred sites, everything. Do you know what I mean? They don't care. And when you look at, when you go through what they voted against in how they vote for you, it stands out that they don't vote to protect any living thing on this continent. They don't vote to protect your children. They don't vote to protect your grandparents. They don't vote to protect your human rights. They don't vote to protect our wildlife, our flora, our fauna, our marine life, right, our fisheries. They're not in it to protect anything. But all they are, and you can see it, they're voting for fracking, for gas, for oil. That's it. Right? Clive Palmer wants his Carmichael mine no matter what. Right? That is bigger than Adani. So, I'm sorry, but we need our fresh water. Oh, that's another thing that you will find that they all voted against, is protecting Australia's fresh water. This is bigger than you think, right? Yes, we fight against the cashless debit card and social security issues on this page. They're not blind to the environment around me. You know, I have a 21-year-old daughter that's got to grow up in this world. And what if she has kids? What if they end up with grandkids? What sort of future have they got? That the minute they come out of school, because they can't get a job, because all the manufacturing's been sold off, everything's privatised, and all that's left is gig economy, casualised workforce with no workers' protections, working for $5 an hour type thing, and being ripped off because the LMP won't even protect, in the same One Nation, they won't even protect wage theft, do you know what I mean, and fight against it. You know, what future do our kids have? We need to change things, right? You know, we need to change things fast. There's big issues coming up. Our social welfare system, the cashless debit card, and our environment. And I'm not a greenie, I'm not a tree hugger. It's called common sense. It's just called common sense. You know, I don't want the working class and the poor, and there won't be a middle class because they'll drag them down. They want the gap between rich and poor so big that there is no middle class left. Right? But, you know, I don't want to see a world where the average person is just working to keep rich people rich and not having any form of life. And people with disabilities are regarded as throwaway people, which is the way they're treated at the moment under this government. You know, and there's no recognition for the carers that are also on this card as well, that give up working lives to live on a pittance and do the work that the government used to pay for many moons ago, save the government $300,000 plus a year in care costs for their disabled charges. You know what I mean? There is no appreciation to people who volunteer or work for no wages in this country. It's just assumed. Things have to change. We have to move forward. We can always go, oh, but Labor did this a decade ago. That was a decade ago. It was a different Labor government, a different caucus, different people. There are different people in the Labor Party today than there were then. Right, it's time to go to the future. Right? It is 2021. The LNP, One Nation, Clive Palmer, right, Craig Kelly will drag us back to the 19th century if they can. Let's not do that, please. Please. There is so much better this country can do. We can be so much better. But we have to move forward. And that means taking a leap of faith for some people. And some people go, oh, you're touting for the ALP. No, I just want change. I'm scared for my future, my daughter's future, and everybody else that's on a benefit out there because these bastards are letting people starve. Now, LNP are unhappy that people on Social Security can't afford food, can't afford rent, can't afford heating, can't afford cooling, can't afford medicines, can't afford specialist, you know, appointments. Why do you think they've got 376,000 people with disabilities and chronic illnesses stuck on job seeker payments because, you know, they know that those people cannot afford to see specialists. So the only time they get a front at hospital is when it's irreversible, non-treatable. They didn't have to waste any money on the preventative issues. Do you know what I mean? Throwaway people. I'm sick of the LNP and their throwaway people. We're not throwaway people. Okay? Australians are not for sale and we're not there to be sat on and made profits off of. At the moment, we've got a lot of people running around, a lot of people being misled with a lot of misinformation that are being sucked down a rabbit hole that I really don't like people. I don't like seeing people go down, right? But at the end of that trail, somebody's making money off of this, so be very careful. All I can say is if you want to get rid of the cashless debit card, ALP, Greens and Australian Progressives, and of course Andrew Wilkie down in Tasmania, right, are the only ones that I would trust. Okay? That's it. Because you have to have progressives in order to progress forward. All right? We keep going with the far right wing that want to bring back the Handmaid's Tale and drag women back to the 40s, 50s, and bring our poor back to the 19th century level of... And all you've got to do is look at what they're doing in the UK. The Tories are doing in the UK. They've managed to bring back poverty, illnesses of pre-wartime Britain. They've brought back starvation, people freeze to death in the streets, right? You know, and the Tories love it. They love it. Because they just don't care. So please, people, stop fighting and squabbling all over our pages. I'm going to remove a lot of the comments because they're very disheartening to me. To the people that have stood by us all this time, this 6 years, we won a big fight. Let's get behind that fight. Okay, we know who we need to vote in to get the card out. Let's do it. All right? Let's just do it. You know? What's this? Look, I know I'm trying to read the comments. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read the comments here. Well, let's stand up, united people, and we want this card gone. That means we stand behind the parties that are going to do it, okay? We know the parties that want to roll it out. We know the people that have continuously voted to keep it in. Right? Clive Palmer was there at the beginning, voted it through the House of Reps in 2014. So while he sat and slept through Parliament most of the time, while he was there to get rid of the mining tax so that he didn't have to pay his $20 million tax bill, okay? He got that done. It didn't worry him that he didn't get voted in again, because that's what it didn't worry him. He got what he wanted, got rid of the mining tax. All right? But left Jackie Lambie. Jackie Lambie originally voted the card through in Seduna. She was a member of Palmer United Party, remember? Okay? Which is now, what is it? United Australia Party, Clive Palmer. All right? Craig Kelly, go and look at his voting record. He voted for the card. All right? Leopards don't change their spots. So, leopards don't change their spots. Okay? Just look at how these people have already voted. Pauline Hanson. Deplorable the way she speaks. All right? Somebody says, you are deluded if you think Labor will get rid of the card. Oh, well, bye-bye, Lachlan, because guess what? You're not the one speaking to the people that are doing this. All right? I'm not deluded at all. Their voting record stands by them, okay? The Greens record stands by the Greens voting record too. So I'm sorry, I trust where they voted. And they voted to get rid of the card in December, okay? And they voted against the card since 2017. All right? Obviously, you're not going to support us trying to get it stopped. We worked hard for 6 years. We achieved the goal. Labor will scrap the card. I don't know. If you don't put them into power, how are you going to find out? You're going to put up with having the card rather than take the chance of not having the card. Are you going to put up with the chance that your grandparents are going to go on the card and all of your kids are going to go on the card and Indu gets their profits and the banks get their profits? Are you going to take that chance, Lachlan? Seriously? Seriously? I know either which way. Of course, I'm not going to take that chance. My daughter deserves better out of life than to be sold like cattle to a private company for profit. All right? The same with you, the same with me, the same with everybody who's got disabilities, carers, casual workers, part-time workers, gig economy workers. All those people deserve better. So, Lachlan, off you trot with your delusion idea. The facts speak for themselves. Labor voted against the card, to stop the card. Go back and watch the video. All right? Anyway, I'm not going to argue with people that obviously not anti-card enough to stand up and believe that, and have been here, you know, I don't know. I know people are sceptical. That's why I say ALP, Greens and Australian Progressives, oh, and Andrew Wilkie, but he can only do one thing. He's only one person. He can't take government, okay? Same with... There's ALP are the only ones who can change the government. The Greens need to be there as well, and Australian Progressives are the only ones that have got your backs. The rest of them, sorry, they've sold you out. Go and look at the policies they voted for to sell Australians out. that not only sold our manufacturing, they not only sold all of our mineral resources, right, but they sold you out. You know what I mean? And Lachlan Wood says something, just wait, I hate to say I told you. No, Lachlan, go away. Because there's a lot of people who need change. If you support the LNP, off your trot, mate. Go away from our pages. If you're not here in solidarity, right, with us all that want change, Lachlan, go away. Okay? Bottom line, the only way you're going to get rid of the cashless debit card is to get rid of the LNP, One Nation, and their mates, Clive and Craig. That's the only way you're going to get rid of the cashless debit card. End of. Anyway, I'm going to go and then I'm going to do my monitoring of comments. Now, there's going to be times when people are going to find that comments will disappear off of our pages. We have to moderate them, right? It's not. So for people, you know, most people are pretty good. But if there's any form of abuse, name calling or excessive language and stuff like that, yeah, the laws have changed regarding Facebook. So now and then comments will disappear for no reason as well, only because we need to protect ourselves and the person that said them. So anyway, okay, I'll probably come back. The reason why my face isn't on the camera is there's something wrong with the video. When I do a live video, the sync, the audio to the visual sync goes way out of whack. I can't fix it. I've tried updating my phone and everything. It's a problem with Facebook. Right. So therefore, I've taken to doing videos like this where people can hear me and we can look at what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? But take care. Keep fighting. We are leading up to the election. We are going to need volunteers. Now, if you would like to volunteer for us at pre-poll and polling booths around the country, we're going to need people to stand up with us. Please message us where you're at. We need plenty of people in the Hinkler region. I need people for at least 3 lots of polling booths up here. So if you want to get involved, please message us in the inbox. Let us know where you're at. And when the time comes, we can make sure that everybody's got all the information that they need and how to do it. But we need people on the ground. And I also encourage card holders to join us at that point as well, because then when people approach us and say, what's this about? If we've got people with us, especially in the Hinkler region, right, the cashless debit card, the person on the cashless debit card can actually tell the person what it's really like. You know, hang on. I'm trying to read comments again. There's a comment here from a... Oh, it's gone. So Lachlan says that they're a pensioner and a big supporter of this page. Don't trust politicians. They go back on their promises a lot. Sorry to put another perspective in this, but history seems repeating. What do you mean history seems repeating? It's taken a long time to get ALP to change their perspective on income management. Okay, go back through their voting records, Lachlan, and have a look. They took it to caucus, they voted to stop it. Okay? Unlike the LNP, they don't do things by captain's call. They take their stuff to caucus and they vote on what their policy is going to be. That's the difference between the ALP and the LNP. LNP Morrison can call captain's call and change things that, you know, thinks he's the main boss. You know, so anyway, as I said, if you want to volunteer and get on board, if you want a cashless debit card and you want to volunteer and get on board, please let me know in the inbox or email us at ncdca@proton.com. Okay, protonmail.com. Yeah, Judy says research and education is a powerful tool for everyone. Absolutely. And if you're not sure about the information on the card, go to SN7 Resources, who's our partner page, where she has put everything there, all the information you ever need to know. But you can also look at the pin post at the top of this page as well, and there's a lot of information in that. When you open it up, that just leads to more and more information. All right. We have documented 6 years of information, legislative changes, everything, over the course of the last 6 years. But the SN7 Resources page, there's files there and everything. And also, if you scroll down here, but you can also get it from SN7 Resources files section in under media, we've got a new flyer that we've printed up. You can download that and print that out. So if you want to go and just print that off and go around your local areas and stick it up on notice boards. Because a lot of people are not on the internet or not on social medias, but they need to know. All right. Anyway, I'll go for now, and I'll come back later with a couple of other issues that I want to share with you, but not right at the moment. I just didn't appreciate waking up to all this negativity again, just because I shared ALPs. People are screaming, ALP being too quiet, and then when they stand up and they get vocal and they get loud, well, we don't believe them. Make up your minds, guys. You know what I mean? Make up your minds. All right. Yeah. So, anyway, have a good day, people. I'm going to get my breakfast. See ya.